Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Moonshiner Racing League here on V-Speed and the OB Builders Cup Series tonight at Daytona International Speedway. I want to thank OB Builders for their sponsorship of this Cup Series for the Ragin Cajun bail bonds, $250. Well, we are down to crunch time, and it is just 2 races remain in the regular season, and then we're going to jump into the playoffs and round of 16 getting pretty close. Let's jump into it. Look at the point standings. We're getting ready to get this thing underway. Randy Mullins continues to have the top spot's been there the whole time and continues to lead the way. Alex Coffey there in second with Matt Cox there in third. Brandon Bikey, Paul Gallimore, Shane Davis, and Kenny Coppola all locked into the playoffs with those wins. You got Tim Wortman Jr., 317 points above the cutoff. He's in good shape. Then you got Justin Belmont down at the bottom with Nick King, Johnny Shade, Nigel Christensen, and Jamison Middle Miss. All those drivers are going to be fighting to try to get into this thing. Of course, a new winner could change everything. So we'll see how that all plays out. Glad to have y'all here tonight as qualifying is currently underway, as we have just a few more minutes before we get this thing rolling. Well, it's been a great season so far. I've really enjoyed everything about Moonshiners, and ready to get the playoffs started, man. I tell you, we'll take a look at what's going on track right now. As you can see, the number 9 of Jeffrey Taylor out on track, just finishing up his qualifying lap. And we've got a few drivers that have yet to put down their laps. It's like Brandon Bikey now going around taking his lap at the moment. We'll take a look at your qualifying times as they sit. And right now, Jeffrey Taylor holds that top spot. We're hoping for better performance tonight. Everything was good last night in the broadcast, so we're looking forward to having a good show without any kind of stuttering. So we'll hope that continues on through the race. Brandon Bikey down on the bottom, just trying to carry as much speed as he possibly can. You look at the gap between the top times and all the way back to 27th position. Just 2/10 separate all of them. And Brandon Bikey going to jump up to the 8th spot there for the start of this one. Well, nobody else is jumping out on track. I see a couple guys that are just sitting there. Nigel Christensen sitting there on pit road. But right now, the preliminary poll is going to go to Jeffrey Taylor, who is sitting. And I don't think with just 32 seconds, I don't think anybody's got a shot at getting this thing done. Well, everything should be good to go. So let's go ahead and jump into the grid, see where everybody's going to start here tonight. It's just me tonight. So we'll jump into it. We got a lot of drivers here to go through. Jeffrey Taylor going to start on the pole with Paul Gallimore in that 2nd position. In 3rd, Kenny Coppola, Brendan Fetterplace in 4th. In 5th, Ed Bowles Jr., Chris Spear in the 6th spot. 7th, Tim Wortman Jr. with Brandon Bikey in 8th. 9th is Randy Mullins, your points leader, with Shane Davis in the 10th spot. In 11th, Hunter Carmichael and Barry Sanders in 12th. 13th, Caden Norfree with Nick King in the 14th position. In 15th is Justin Belmont and Warren Young starting in the 16th position. In 17th is Matt Cox, and 18th, Matt Mackin. 19th, Chris Davis with Jamison Middle Miss in the 20th position. 21st, Matt Metler with Johnny Shade in 22nd. 23rd, Nicholas Atwood, Jared Clark in the 24th spot. 25th, Darren Mills, Alex Coffey in 26th. 27th, Jordan Schmeets, Blaine Wilson in 28th. Shane Parrish in 29th. 30th is going to be Aaron Matthews. And then rounding out the field, going to be Nigel Christensen and Ryan Huff. 32 cars here at Daytona. Well, Daytona, always a fun race. We'll take a look at the race analysis. We're waiting for the grid to get rolling and get ready to go racing 100 laps here tonight. Pit road speed 55 miles an hour. You got 6 tire sets if you need them. I don't think tires will be a factor, especially not in a night race. So I would expect tires to not be an issue. 1 green, white checkered attempt. I bet we use those to their fullest. And then right there, you got open setup. We'll see what these guys have been able to figure out on super speedways. Setups in super speedway a little bit different sometimes, so I have to really own that in. You want as much speed as you can get, and you kind of see the top of the board. That lets you know who's got the speed and who doesn't. But pretty much the whole field is, I mean, just within just a tenth or so. And then stages at lap 30 and 60. Cars rolling off here, is getting ready to go green here at Daytona. Going to be a great race. Looking forward to this one. A lot of opportunities. We'll take a look at the point standings yet again. A lot of opportunities for some drivers down here. Now, most of these guys are going to be locked in with just 2 races remaining. I think Blaine Wilson got to feel pretty confident, but Jeffrey Taylor, who's on the pole here tonight, he would love to get a win and just kind of take that out of the equation. Justin Belmont is in the situation just like Bubba Wallace was in the real-life Daytona race, where a new winner would knock him out if it comes from one of those first 4 out. So Johnny Shade, Jameson Middlemiss, Nigel Christensen, Nick King, those guys going to be looking to punch their ticket to the playoffs tonight. And Justin Belmont needs to also, I mean, he needs to go out there and win this race and not allow that to happen, because it'll push him right out. And Jeffrey Taylor, if we get 2 winners in a row, Jeff is in trouble. So he'll be looking to try to increase that points lead and try to get off that bubble. But that's how close it is. So it's going to be exciting to see. Those stage points going to mean everything here tonight. So I don't think we're going to see any kind of riding like what you would think. I think we're going to see some short enough racing, 2 or 3 wide racing, maybe 4 wide if we can fit it in there. And yeah, would not surprise me one bit. With the stages being at 30 and 60, there's not going to be a whole lot of time to breathe, and it's going to be all racing. But here we go. Jeffrey Taylor going to lead us down to the green flag. The pace car is getting ready to pull off. Glad to have y'all in here tonight. Hope the stream goes well tonight. I'm a little stressed out about it, if I'm honest. But hopefully we got it going on. Green flag is out as they're into the Geico restart zone. Jeffrey Taylor going to lead us down to the green flag. Big pushes. Paul Gallimore going to drop down from the top side right in front of Jeffrey Taylor and take over that spot and sit himself atop of the man. Oh, Chris Spear lagging out. Big issue is now the first wreck of the night. Multiple drivers going spinning. Blaine Wilson, Johnny Shade, these guys below the cut line, all spinning. Chris Spear continues to wreck as the first lap ends in a wreck, and it all started with Chris Spear, who was lagging out. We saw him blinking, and unfortunately, you're going to kind of see it. Watch that 7 car right in the middle. You see Brandon Bikey giving him a push, but he's actually inside of him. Giggity. Go on board Bikey here as you can watch it happen on the V-Speed replay. Watch it right here. Goes right, and then when that happens, it's bad news bears for the rest of the field. So unfortunate that happened. But netcode is part of it. That's just a bad, just a unfortunate thing about racing online, is that you're going to have that type of stuff happen. And that's what happens on lap number 1. So we're already under caution here as connection issues, calls and issues with the field. Big wreck, multiple drivers involved. We'll get that for you in just a moment. Just can't have everything work out just right. ATVO takes a nose dive there after that wreck. But we got everything back up and running. Looks like maybe Barry Sanders involved. Shane Parrish, Darren Mills. Saw Darren Mills not too happy about what happened there. So, the folks coming down pit road, no fast repair in this series. So these guys will have to sit and get that damage fixed. And it looks like Darren Mills is back out after a good amount of time on pit road trying to get some damage fixed. Chris Spears is back. Then you see a lot of drivers on pit road just trying to get a little bit of that damage fixed. It's too early for that, that's for sure. Yeah, just a bummer all around. But one of the rare moments where it's not really anybody's fault. I mean, Chris was kind of lagging a little bit there on the initial start, but you just never know how long that stuff's going to be an issue. So I don't blame it for getting up there and racing. You know, when someone is blinking, you kind of normally say, hey, can you bounce to the back? But it may have just not have been bad enough yet. We saw him blink one time, but he was solid up into the point that Bikey pushed him. And you could see the cars kind of go inside of each other. And that just, all that is, the server is not aware of where both cars are. And it's guessing. And when the prediction goes wrong with network issues, you have that right there where the cars are inside of each other. And then it's just, you're going for a ride no matter what happens. It looks like Mikey able to hold on to the top, hold on up there. Is man Paul Gallimore not having connection issues as he blinks out entirely. We'll see if he comes back. There he is. He's back. So may not just be a Chris Spear thing. It might be an iRacing thing. I don't know. But first caution of the night on lap 1. Nick King, one of those drivers, needs a good race. He's below the cutoff, involved in that incident. A minute, 3 seconds of damage fixed on that 12 machine. Car looks like it's in pretty good shape, but man, you hate to get any damage at Super Speedway because it doesn't take much. You lose that speed down the straightaway. The car just doesn't drive like you want it to. Warren Young involved. Jordan Schmeets was involved in that one as well. Matt Mackin also on pit road for multiple lengths of time. Johnny Shade, like he had to go. He had about 48 seconds of damage. Barry Sanders, Blaine Wilson, all those drivers coming down pit road getting some damage fixed. So not a great way to start the race, but we'll rack them back up, get it back going. Kelly Coffee in the chat says, I hate super speedways, and then said after the wreck happened, and that's why. Well, just talk a little bit about the next gen and what you can expect. The draft is a little weird here in the next gen car. It is the draft, it feels like it's non-existent around the 0.8 of a second. You know, normally in the trucks, in the Xfinity cars, the trucks in particular punch a pretty big hole in the air. It allows for big runs from pretty far back. You can get those runs, but you kind of get connected, but it doesn't push as much. Here in the next gen car, you don't get massive runs from that far back, but once you get within about 4 to 3/10 of a car, you get inside that bubble. Man, it sure does get a massive run at that point. Then you get two cars hooked up that can really make some moves. The front bumpers and the rear bumpers in these cars line up pretty well, so you can push for a good amount of time. It's just whether or not your motor can hold on. You don't want to push too long, blow that motor. We've seen that a couple of times in these plate races, so it is definitely possible. All right, get ready to go green. Barney got the green flag in hand on lap 4, coming to 5. And green flag back out with Paul Gallimore lead the way. Really good start. And my curiosity is just whether or not folks are going to take it easy or not, or how aggressive they're going to be. You see that top line, Jeffrey Taylor getting a little squirrely there behind Paul Gallimore. Gallimore going to block that outside line as the leader. You have to kind of stay in a lane, but also you can work both lanes if you want to. But, man, that outside line gets a little snaked up there as looks like Kenny Coppola up there got a little bit loose, broke that top line up, and now they're kind of fading back. So they're going to have to get reconnected up here, get back going. But the outside line now with Brandon Fetterplace is going to surge ahead. So teamwork also a big factor here tonight. I love super speedways for that reason alone. Is, man, Shane Davis blinking out now. So connection issues might continue to be a problem here as, man, it is a tough. I mean, honestly, a lot of these issues might not just be connection issues, might be computer related, just because Daytona with 30 drivers is pretty taxing on these guys' computers. And so that could also be contributing to the blinking and the lag and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff to be dealing with here, and you really can't just ride around. You got to get up here and get these stage points. Going to make a big difference. Right now, though, the bottom line sort of lined up just right, as up front, you can see Shane Davis not quite able to get the momentum going just yet, but now I can't see who is in that red car. 74, Chris Davis, jumps up to the outside line, not willing to ride, wants to go to the front. So I think, all in all, this race has pretty interesting things about it. I think at 100% fuel, we see Alex Coffey now jumping up there. Well, everybody wants to lead this outside line. Nobody wants to be in the outside line if it's falling back, but as soon as it starts moving forward, boy, they jump out of line, and that really hurts the inside. So that outside, as the numbers continue to build, that outside line is going to continue to surge forward. And this will be sort of like a pendulum effect, sort of a rubber band effect, as they can just kind of push forward, then fall back, push forward and fall back. So but awesome to watch these guys race at these plate tracks. Like I said beforehand, teamwork is one of my favorite parts of this. Working with your team, your 3 to 4 or 5, 6, sometimes 8, 9 buddies working together. If you have a big team and you have the numbers, you sure can make a lot of things happen at these plate tracks. So you want to find your friends, stick with them. Early in these races, you can kind of move around, you know, see how your car's handling, put yourself into some positions. But that late in the race, you want to be nose to tail with your teammates, and you want to have somebody pushing you if you're going to have a chance to win. But pit strategy tonight, with the stages being at 30 and 60, I would imagine these guys can go all the way to stage in without fuel. So this is all green flag racing to the end of the stage, and then they'll definitely be able to go to the end of stage 2. So we won't need to see any green flag pit stops. So that won't break up the field. Now in the final stage, it's 40 laps, I believe. And so you might see a pit stop there, but we'll see. They might be able to stretch it. Alex Coffey out front right now on lap 9, coming to lap 10. You see everybody kind of stacked up there on that outside line. Coffey wants to continue to lead that line, and I don't see anybody stepping out at the moment. There he goes. As soon as I said it, Chris Davis said, "I'll go." Jumps down to the bottom, and Alex Coffey is actually going to come down and side draft, lean on that right rear quarter panel, going to yank them back a little bit. Look how quickly the pack joins the fray as all that happened, and Alex Coffey going to be left in that outside line without any help. So that little move by Chris Davis kind of opened the floodgates, and now Jeffrey Taylor going to go back out front. Jeffrey Taylor leading the way. Man, what an awesome story that would be if he could get the victory here tonight. Lock himself as caution's out. Caution is out, and it looks like Caden Norfrey and Blaine Wilson involved here. Those two drivers sitting on the front stretch. So some contact must have happened here. Let's take a look at the replay and see what happened. These guys are in the very, very back. So I don't know if that happened in front of them or what. Yeah, it starts with Johnny Shade and the 66 of Shane Parrish. On board here with Johnny Shea. Got the 55 of Warren Young in front of him. Johnny going to go down to the inside, and I think Warren just wasn't expecting that to happen. And you see the calamity after the fact. So just a little miscommunication there. It looks like Blaine, or excuse me, looks like Johnny Shade was just going to go shoot the middle. And Warren Young got out of the groove there. So watching it again from the blimp cam, I just don't think Warren Young was expecting Shade to go down there, or Shane Parrish just got clipped there at the end. But yeah, I think in that moment, Warren just wasn't expecting that move. So down on pit road they go, and I tell you what, some tough nights for Shane Parrish. Had a rough race a couple races ago, or I think last week, and man, just tough way to go out here early. We'll take a look at some of the penalties from this week, and I tell you, I don't know if all of them were, but the 13, the 20, the 34, the 88, all with penalties this week. Although just L1 penalties, so maybe nothing too extravagant. But pit road is wide open, folks coming down pit road. So I don't know if fuel is a thing, but they're definitely going to give up a lot of track position to come down and get it. Little splash and go for these drivers as you see Kenny Coppola going to beat Jeffrey Taylor off of pit road, taking just a little bit of fuel. So Alex Coffey will get the lead back as that whole group comes down pit road, takes fuel only. Yeah, interesting call. It's going to depend on, I would drag somebody up in here, but I feel like they're not going to tell me their how long they can make it on fuel. But they may be coming down just to stay out for that stage. And if you can get enough fuel, because I would imagine they can make close to 40 laps, I would think, on fuel if they got a full tank, which I'm pretty sure they do. You might be getting close to be able to make it all the way to the end of stage 2 without having to come in at the stage break. So we'll see if that's sort of their strategy, because I would imagine 30 laps would be very easy to make with 100% fuel load. So we'll see how that kind of strategy plays out as we'll kind of go on board and see how much saving is going on here. On board with Bikey. Doesn't seem to really be clutching it or anything. Just kind of rolling around in the highest gear, which is 5th gear. And full clutching here on Chris Davis, so he knows how important it is to save that fuel. Well, while we got some time, we'll take a look at your driver cams here. We got everybody. We got Tim Wortman Jr., Kenny Coppola, Barry Sanders, as always, Brandon Bikey, Jeff Taylor, Darren Mills, and then Nick King there, trying to race his way into the playoffs. Appreciate all those guys showing those cameras. Definitely appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to V-Speed, man, please hit that subscribe, hit the like on the videos. That helps all of our algorithms, getting us kind of more visible. So whenever somebody searches for iRacing, hey, V-Speed pops up, Moonshiners Racing League pops up, and people can watch your races. Maybe folks that don't know anything about you can see it, and it all helps when you do those type of things. But definitely appreciate if you do that. And we got all kinds of racing pretty much almost every day of the week. I think V-Speed has some sort of broadcast going on. So plenty of action to watch. Sometimes they're pretty entertaining. Friday night will be the Goat Locker Truck Series starting up. Going to be exciting, so might want to check that one out. But getting ready to go green here on lap 14, coming to lap 15, halfway through stage number 1, and already been a little bit messy. That time coming from the back of the field is where that wreck started. So we'll see if we can get some green flag racing here and get to the end of this stage. Alice Coffey, Chris Davis leading us down to the green flag. Alice Coffey with a great jump into the Geico restart zone. Going to get a big push here from Barry Sanders as they're going to kind of break away from the pack here early on. Barry Sanders is going to come disconnected. And Fetterplay's going to jump down to the bottom. The 74, Chris Davis, going to back up to the Ed Bull's number 38 machine. Really wiggly as they go down the back straightaway. Everybody trying to get connected. It seems like it takes about half a lap for these cars to sort of get sucked back up to each other. And then once they do, start pushing like a madman to try to get as much speed as you possibly can. Coming off of turn 4, Alex Coffey with the lead. Chris Davis trying to get that outside line running, but he's got Ed Bulls behind him. You see Ed not really pushing, just trying to just keep the pace in. Oh, man, Chris Davis might have been kind of lifting to let that happen. Now Ed Bowles is going to be out there on that outside line by himself. And the outside line now has Kenny Coppola, Brandon Bikey there, but just about 3 or 4 drivers, just numbers sort of bailed on them. But we've already seen it. These guys will get ahead of steam, and the guys on the bottom will jump up there and take that line away from them. And there it is, Nick King. Big push from Ed Bowles Jr. kind of stalls out just a little bit. But Nick King, 28, below the cutoff. These stage points mean everything for him, so he needs to get up there and get as many as he can. And that's exactly what he's doing with the big push from Ed Bowles Jr. Nobody jumping up there just yet, but I expect to see somebody jump up to that outside line and try to block this big run that they got. Oh, man, Matt Mettler almost goes up and makes contact. That's going to slow up the bottom line just a little bit. I don't know why that always happens at these races, but every time somebody's going to go up, it's just kind of like it's magnets. Whenever somebody gets beside you, it's almost like your car wants to go up to it. I don't know what that is, but some folks would say air. I just say it's just some, and we all just want to, I don't know, want to give out hugs, I guess. I don't know. Maybe trying to slow that outside line maybe down a little bit, try to use that side draft. Coffey leading the way. Barry Sanders there in second. No big pushes here. I don't see any really aggressive driving at the moment. And almost 2 packs here separating themselves is Darren Mills back here in this second pack, maybe expecting a wreck or may have been a mistake on the restart. And we talked a little bit about that that issue with the way these cars draft is, you know, if you get behind, you get to about 1.1 seconds and you don't get a big push to try to get back up to them, you can lose the draft here if you're not careful, because everything sort of spreads out and then it sort of rubber bands back together. But if you're on the wrong side of that, you can end up losing the draft. And so that may have been what happened here as they're trying to run them back down, getting single file. You see Tim Wortman Jr. laying on the bumper of that number 2 machine, trying to push them back up there. But it can be dangerous. And losing the draft in these cars is very, very easy. So they're going to have a lot of work to do. Of course, they do have the stage. They're not out of it. But if they want to get stage points, they're going to have to really, really work together. But they're continuing to lose time to this front pack, who continues to pull away. They're now 5.2 seconds or 4 seconds back from the main pack. Oh, man, 3 wide situation with Matt Metler in the middle. Jared Clark goes to the inside, so Matt's going to be all by himself in the middle. No help for that 80 Diamond Machine. He's going all the way to the back. And going to fall in on that outside line, so no love for Matt there, as he's going to lose all those spots. 10 laps to go in this stage. Alex Coffey with Hunter Carmichael pushing him across the start-finish line. In these moments, you're just trying to survive, but you're trying to maintain your position, set up those runs, find a good spot, find a teammate, find somebody that's willing to push. There might be team orders out there. There might not be. And you just got to do whatever you want to do. It's Kenny Coppola going to go down to the inside. Got his teammate, Brandon Bikey, now hooked up to him, and Barry Sanders going to join the battle down on the bottom line. I think that the bottom line numbers are actually really, really good right now. We should see a surge from this group led by Kenny Coppola. But Hunter Carmichael has really been pushing Alex Coffey for a while. You wonder if he's not getting a little overheated, going to have to back off at some point, and might have been right there, as you can see, Bikey giving a huge shove to Kenny Coppola. Super speedways are such a dance. There's so much to calculate. Seems like it's easy, but man, it's such a skill. I've run a lot of different series, and there's some guys who are super speedway only drivers. You know, that's what they do on the officials. They race in super speedway leagues. But when they get on these tracks, sort of like road course ringers, they know how to get it done, because it takes a certain skill to do it right. Right now, Hunter Carmichael is pushing, trying to keep command, and I thought he was going down to the inside. May have gotten a little bit loose there, but trying to keep that outside line in command. And, you know, he has to worry about the temperature of that car. If you get to the back bumper and you push for too long, that water temp will overheat, and it can blow. It's not going to give you a warning. It's not going to say, hey, we're about to blow. I've heard people blowing it. You know, normally you get over about 290, 300 on the water temp, you're pretty much done. But I've heard 280 will still blow a motor. So you got to be careful. You want to push when you have enough headroom. Got to let the car cool down just a little bit. Keep that space between you and the guy in front. And you can do that by just dragging the brake. Drag the brake back. Just tap the brake, tap the brake. Keep the car right as close to the back bumper as you can, just to get the maximum draft, but without pushing. Because once you start pushing, that temp goes up pretty quickly. But as you get down to the end of a stage or the end of the race, like right now, you want to be cooling it off. If you're the 27 or the 3, they're the most powerful guys on the track right now. They want to let that thing cool off a little bit. And then once we get down to about 2 laps to go in the stage is when you push for all that you got. Talking about teamwork, man, if you can get the sweet spot, I believe, is either 4 or 5 cars. I want to say it's 5. I think any more than that, you have just the returns are not anywhere near as good. It's going to come around a lap car here. That's Matt Mackin. He's going to drop down to the apron and let the pack go by. Smart driving by Matt. He's going to get that lucky dog. No need to get up there and be a part of it. There. See, Jordan Schmeet's down to the inside. The 32 of Matt Cox going to jump down in front of that bottom line. So guys trying to make some moves here. You see some nervousness right here. But yeah, 5 cars. If you can get 5 cars together, nose to tail, working together on Discord, staying as close as you possibly can, that's the fastest that you can get. But man, it sure is hard to put 5 guys together. It's good for a burger chain, but really difficult to do in iRacing. But down on the bottom, they are making it work, and they're getting a nice little lunge here. Is now Matt Cox going to get the push? Will Coffey come down to defend? No, he doesn't. So Matt Cox going to get a surge out ahead. Just 4 laps to go in this stage, and we're 2 by 2 for the lead. Alex Coffey comes down, trying to side draft, going to make a little bit of contact with Kenny Coppola. Pulls Coppola off of Matt Cox. Cox going to go up to block. Little okey doke for Alex Coffey. And Cox is going to fall back as Coffey going to surge ahead. Gets a bump from the 3 of Hunter Carmichael. Gets him loose. These guys are pushing hard at the end of this stage. Belmont there in that number 6. Got to be racing on pins and needles. Like, please don't let us wreck up here. Nick King in that 3rd spot. He's also in a spot where he needs to stay out of trouble, but he needs to push for all he's got to get those stage points. Shoves those 2 out front. Big gap. Gets right to the 3. Does a small, slight lift. Gets right to the back bumper. You don't want to slam into the guy pushing. You don't want to push the pusher. You can kind of go up there and ease into him, but you don't want to run into him as he'll wreck the guy in front of him. It could be a bad situation. So Nick getting as close as he can, maximizing that draft. And you can see the surge from the top line as they come off of turn 2. Big push from the 3. Nick King there in that 3rd position. Stage points, so important for him. But the guy he is racing is just 2 rows back. Will Nick do anything crazy here to try to get that stage win? 2 laps to go in this stage. Who is going to get the stage win? There he goes, down to the bottom. Got Ed Bowles Jr. with him. Now there's 2 drivers up on the outside. Alex Coffey sniffs it out. Hunter Carmichael going to be left all by himself as they come around. Ooh, guys making all kinds of wild moves up here. Almost 3 wide. They keep it together, though. Final lap. Oh, my goodness, as Hunter Carmichael gets a nasty bump. Big push from Nick King. Nick King going to push Alex Coffey out. And imagine he's going to dump him at one point. When's it going to happen? Off of turn 4, Nick King still pushing Alex Coffey. Cross the line. Alex Coffey with the lead. Nick King continues to push. They got Matt Cox behind him. King trying to push him out as far as he possibly can to make a move and try to take him. But right now, Matt Cox is going to be his best friend or worst enemy. If Nick King pulls out to try to make a pass, if Cox goes with him, he's got him. But if not, Nick's going to be in trouble. Bowles goes to the top side. Cox going to block. Coming off of turn 4. This is coming to the stage right now. No help from behind for Nick King. Nick going to go up to block. Get a big shove from Ed Bowles Jr., but they cross the line. And Alex Coffey is going to win stage number 1. Woo! Some really cool moves there at the end. Nick King tried to get that win, just did not make the move in time. I think the kind of the movement behind him kind of left him without any help till right there at the end when Bowles got to his back bumper. So, your stage winner, Alex Coffey, stage number 1. And that'll be his 5th stage win of the season. And he was able to stay up front all night long, or all stage 1 so far. And he was able to keep that number 15 up there and in contention and able to get that stage win. All right, we'll see what the pit strategy is going to be here. I think those that are out front here, unless they can make it somehow 60 laps with a little bit of saving, I would expect to see Coffey, Carmichael, Ed Bowles, Brandon Fenderplace, those guys come down pit road for fuel here. The question will be whether or not the Kenny Coppola, Justin Belmont, Matt Cox, those guys who came down 19 laps ago, will they need to come down for fuel here? We'll see right here once we come around to pit road to open up. Glad to have y'all tonight, man. I'm feeling good. Had some technical issues last week, and I'm glad to be back racing, broadcasting Moonshiners Racing League. And yeah, it looks like everybody coming down pit road, so Alex Coffey will lead them down. Gonna be fuel only for these drivers. You might see some folks in the back take 4 tires, but there's really no benefit to 4 tires. I think some people take it for safety. I mean, the weather right now, the track temp's only 83 degrees, so I just don't think you're gonna see a need for that. So fuel gonna be top notch. Now I'll tell you one thing that could happen that I completely missed, which is why those guys came down when they did. And this is why. Less fuel that they needed to fill up. Alex Coffey, he took about 14 seconds on pit road, had to fill up a full tank. Whereas Matt Cox, Brandon Bikey, Schmeets, when they came down earlier and took fuel, they only had to take about 7 or 8 seconds worth of fuel. So that's where the strategy was coming into play. I completely missed that. But smart move by those guys. Come down, get that fuel. That's less that they had to put in the tank, and hey, they get to gain a bunch of spots out of that. So far, only one driver that has called it quits, and that's Shane Parrish in the 66. Now, he hit the wall dead on after getting right hooked there on one of those incidents, and he's the only one out. Everybody else still in the race. Cade Norfrey is still on pit road right now, getting more damage fixed. Blaine Wilson, Nigel Christensen, all trying to get that damage fixed. But they are all still on the lead lap. Matt Mackin was the lucky dog that time by. We saw him go a lap down as the pack was able to get around him cleanly. So he is back on the lead lap. So everybody but Shane Parrish still on the lead lap, still in this thing. By the time we go green, we're gonna have just under 25 laps in this stage, as the stage is at lap 60. And the intensity is just gonna keep ramping up. Sort of a bummer how plate racing has turned into. I mean, I think Daytona this past weekend was really incredible versus the plate racing that we've had in the past. Was at Talladega in the spring, and man, it was just a fuel-saving race. Sitting there watching your favorite driver, knowing that he is not going to be able to make any moves because everybody was saving fuel. Everybody was trying to just constantly save fuel. So their pit stop times are a lot, and nobody could pass. Nobody could make any moves. Nobody could really do anything at Talladega, and it was just going to finish the way it was going to finish. Of course, we had an exciting finish with McDowell trying 2 or 3 different blocks and getting turned. Corey LaJoy ended up on his roof. Lots of action there at the end, but here on iRacing, I think the plate racing has always stayed pretty solid. Yeah, you can save some fuel here and there, but a lot of guys on here are just not going to do that. Not going to sit around, just drive around half throttle with the idea of fuel saving. You'll get some that will do it, but man, it's just too much fun to get up here and battle. Try to hang on to these positions, get out front, push lines, get pushed. I don't think we'll see any kind of fuel saving like that going on, but that final stage will be interesting. We'll see if, I don't know how many laps they can make it on fuel, but it's going to be a close one. It'll be about 35 laps once they do take the green flag. So going to be interesting. But getting ready to go green here into the Geico restart zone. Matt Cox, Brandon Bikey. Cox going to get the green flag, though he does change the lane. I don't know what the rule is here, but change the lanes. Oh, man, Chris Spear. Sideways at the start-finish line with Matt Mackin. Oh, I thought the pace car was a car. The pace car just drove right through him. Not a big deal. But Chris Spear goes around on this restart, and he's going to exit out. Tough night for him. We'll see if it's connection issues again. I think it's just a stack up here on the start. Green flag is out. Oh, that's a bummer. That is a missed shift. That is a shift. That's a shift from third. Watch him as he goes up to second. Go on board with him right here. He's in second now. He's watch a shift here into first. Blows his motor. The torque of the motor is going to yank him around, and Matt Mackin with nowhere to go. Must be using an H pattern, and man, that's a bummer right there. Sequential shifters here. But some folks still use H patterns because they're just so darn fun. And he might have missed third gear here. Watch this again. Did that gear right in the middle. You see it right there. And it goes to first, and man, that's all she wrote. So they'll rack them back up again. We'll have a few more laps under caution. And we're going to take a small break. And we'll come back and maybe talk to a driver or two. Just a moment. Well, man, we know what you have to do. You've got to get you got to get these stage points, and if you get a win, man, that sure would make it a whole lot easier. How's that car driving so far? How you feeling about this race?
Feeling pretty good. I felt really good at the beginning, but I got a little bit of damage on that first pit stop before the stage finish. But I got it all repaired. It feels kind of funny, but all in all, it's pushing pretty good. So we'll see how the rest of the race goes.
Well, you looked strong there in that first stage. You had an opportunity to get that stage win, and everything kind of died behind you as Ed Bulls kind of got blocked there. It seemed like you and Ed be working pretty good together. As you get down to the end of the second stage, how hard are you going to be pushing when I get the stage 2 win?
Me and Belmo, like, we've got a lot of team guys back behind me, so Tim Horman's behind us too. So I think we're gonna kind of hang out, make sure nothing bad happens, and then towards the end of the stage, we're gonna start pushing, try to get up toward the front to get some more stage points.
All right, well, that is Nick King. Thank you for talking to me, man.
Absolutely, sir. Appreciate it.
There you go, Nick King. Sounds pretty confident as we'll get the 1 to green here. And we'll go back green flag racing. And, yeah, when we take the green, there'll be 21 laps in the stage. So not a whole lot of time. And these cautions keep racking up these laps. And it's going to be over quickly before we know it. Not quite halfway, just a little bit over the third of the way through. Field going to come down the back stretch. Matt Cox, Brandon Bikey, top 2 drivers. Alex Coffey, stage 1 winner, back in 6th. Randy Mullins, your points leader, he is back in 12th. These guys just hanging around. Randy Mullins, maybe not the numbers. Him and Chris Davis working together. Maybe doesn't have the numbers that these other guys have. You know, BMP has a lot of drivers. I mean, Brandon Bikey, Mills, Jeffrey Taylor, Jordan Schmitz, Kenny Coppola, Matt Cox, Nicholas Atwood, Gallimore, and Shane Davis. All those guys working together. Then you got Warrior Racing, which is who we just talked to, Nick King, Justin Belmont, guys who really need some good racing. Ed Bowles Jr., Chris Spear, who had some trouble, Ryan Huff, and Tim Wortman Jr. All working together. You got Dig, which is Alex Coffey, Blaine Wilson, Caden Norfrey, Johnny Shade, Nigel Christensen. And so far, only Alex Coffey has been up here trying to make any waves. I expect those guys to get together before the end of this thing. So lots of teamwork going on. You got Bad Boy with Aaron Matthews, Barry Sanders, Feder Place, Carmichael, Matt Medler, and Warren Young. But getting ready to go green. Green flag back out. Matt Cox with the lead here on lap 38. Matt Cox continues to hold the lead, but Jordan Schmitz, new player, down on the bottom line. Getting a push from Alex Coffey. Big shoves in the middle of the corner. Coffey being very aggressive, trying to push Sheets out there. Schmitz gets loose. Alex Coffey continues to push all the way down the back straightaway. They're almost clear as they go down into 3 and 4. Big pushes, though, for Coffey. Coffey is getting Jordan Schmitz all out of shape, so I don't know what happened there, but Coffey maybe didn't appreciate something. I don't know, but, man, those are some aggressive pushes. It's almost like, oh, you're a man. You're going to jump down in front of me. We'll see what you can do. So it's really giving him the business, but now Schmitz going to jump up to the outside and in front of his teammates on that outside line. And now Alex Coffey has Ed Bowles and Jameson Middlemiss down on the bottom line. Middlemiss is another one of those drivers we haven't talked about. Oh, no. Guys following through the field. It's like we're okay. Middlemiss in that green car right in the middle of your screen, that number 16. He is not going to point himself in no matter what. He has got to get the win tonight. Johnny Shade in a very similar situation. Nigel Christensen. Nick King can point himself in with those stage points, but right now, Jameson Middlemiss, I can guarantee you with full confidence that he's got to win this race. Unless he plans to come out in Darlington and just lay waste to the field, this is his best opportunity to try to get into the playoffs. So Middlemiss is going to have to position himself in a good spot and be there at the end to be able to get that win. George Schmitz leads the top line. You see Alex Coffey still down at the bottom. Matt Cox gets a little out of shape as he gets sandwiched between his two teammates, but they're able to rectify it and get everything going. But that's going to open the door for the bottom line, and Schmitz going to come down and block that line. I think that's exactly what Coffey did not like earlier, was that move right there, coming down and blocking the line as he gets there, kind of stalling that run out. And you can see how well that works as he does exactly that, then jumps right back out to the outside, and they surge out ahead about 3 to 4 rows in front of the 15. Now the 15 going to get a big push from Ed Bowles. Is now the bottom line going to start to surge back ahead as Schmitz gets loose again from a bump from Matt Cox. Ed Bull's doing a good bit of lifting there, so I wonder if Alex Coffey not trying to maybe drag the brake just a little bit to keep Ed to his back bumper. So all great strategies to try to keep that momentum going. Coffey not quite able to get himself up to the lead as that outside line is really pushing. Well, just 15 laps to go in this stage. Who's going to win stage number 2? Coffey able to get the first one. Can he get 2 stage wins? Or is Jordan Schmidt's Matt Cox going to have something to say about it? Big pushes on that outside line is, and what happened here? Ed Bowles Jr. down on the inside. Something happened to Ed Bowles as now he is out of the groove. A little bit of contact, big shove from Jamison Middlemiss. We watched the replay to see what happened. We're still green. You can see just how much they're shoving. He is all over the place. He gets turned by Middlemiss through the grass. And what a save by the 38. Incredible driving by him. As he's able to save that thing, we stay green. He's going to lose a ton of time. He's going to lose the draft. I think Matt Cox is going around. I'm trying to catch him. He's down on the bottom, spinning. Take a look at that replay. What happened to Cox? He goes up, going to get turned by Bikey as they were trying to make a slight move there. Watch again. Just a late move, and Bikey just not able to get him squared up. But another great save by Matt Cox as he's going down onto the inside of the backstretch. But we go back to the racing. Still under green flag conditions. And Middlemiss up there into the wall as they have sort of a 5-car breakaway. That's Coffey, Carmichael, Middlemiss, Bikey, Warren Young up here in the top 5. And they just seem nervous. Everybody's just all over the place. Big shove by Jordan Schmidts, and Middlemiss drops down to the bottom. He wants to lead that lane. Going to get a big shove here. He's going to be a surge out front. Can he take the lead? Big push by Jordan Schmidts. See the 79 of Shane Davis blink out just a little bit. Always kind of makes you nervous. Bottom line stalls out just a little bit as the outside line is really tightly packed. These guys are really doing a great job of staying connected. And Middlemiss do something with that bottom line. Schmidts continues to push. Down the backstretch, another one. Man, these guys are out of shape. You can see that bump from Schmidts. Gets Middlemiss all kind of out of whack. And it's really hurting that bottom line as they're just not able to stay connected for very long. Middlemiss just not able to hold it. Shane Davis going to pull out of line, fall to the back. Now they start to fan out. As here comes Johnny Shade, Blaine Wilson down on the bottom line. They'll take control of this bottom line as Middlemiss just not able to get it going. Lap 50, 10 laps to go in stage number 2. That pack with Chris Davis back there leading at 74. They're about 2.2 seconds back from this pack. Will they be able to catch them? Are they even trying? Look back here. You can see these guys running sort of nose to tail. Are they kind of waiting on the big wreck that might happen up here at the front? Three wide. You got Paul Gallimore in the middle. They get it settled. Big moves up here. The 55, Warren Young down to the inside of Bike. You got to break that up. It's Coffee, Carmichael up front. A lot of moving and shaking up here at the front of the pack, and it is all kind of got shuffled around. Teammates come unglued as Dick King giving a big shove to Bikey, but Coffee got to block that line. It's so frustrating when you get a big shove like that. You can see daylight, and then somebody comes up and blocks, but Coffee doing what he can to hold on to that spot. Oh, wreck in the back. 18. No, excuse me. I don't know who that was. Caden Orfrey in the 20. Make contact and goes around, and that's enough to bring out the caution. Looks like everybody was able to get through that, but go back and see what happened there. We kind of watched it as they were going down the back straightaway. A little checkup right in front. 69 of Jared Clark gets into him, and the 79 who had gone to the back, Shane Davis, makes contact, or gets hit on the outside wall. As you see, going to see the 69 get a shove from Middle Miss here, and as the checkup is happening, they kind of just get out of shape, and they go around. The 69 is going to end up be the one that spins, but Jordan Schmidt's going to get some front end damage. You can see the 6 of Belmont there in Middle Miss. Those guys battling to try to get into the playoffs, and they're right in front of all this. Golly. And I tell you right there, Belmont almost gets turned. That was a very, very close call. And Nigel Christensen involved in that as well. So these guys that were hanging around in the back turned out to get involved. And yet another caution out on the speedway. I imagine we're going to see some guys come down pit road for some damage repairs. Jordan Schmidt's likely going to have some of that damage he needs fixed. Caden Orfrey. You can see the 79, man. He has tore up something awful. The good news is in iRacing, I mean, while his front bumper is gone, a lot of times that's just largely visual. The new damage model they have where parts and pieces kind of come off. However, you'll see if he stays on pit road long enough and gets that damage fixed, that bumper will actually magically reattach like it's F1 or IndyCar with a new front wing. So hopefully he can get back out there and get that 79 up to the front. Just so disappointing. That's just the way it goes. You kind of feel nervous about the front. Feel like there's about to be a wreck, go to the back, and then there's a wreck back there, and you get involved. Hey, Norfrey getting some damage fixed on that number 20 Team Conti Toyota. And it was like Justin Belmont did have a little bit of damage. He's getting some of that fixed here on pit road. Let's get him up into the booth. Justin Belmont, this is Eddie. In the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Well, it's going good. Tonight, it is, I mean, you're in a weird spot. You're probably in the worst spot where you're in the playoffs, but a new winner knocks you out, but you're only 28 above the cutoff line. Sorry to bring all that up. And they just had a little bit of contact there. What's your plan tonight? You're in such an odd position with the playoffs looming in just a couple races. What's your plan? How are you attacking this race and trying to get that 6th car, maybe in victory lane?
Well, I had a plan, but I don't really have a plan anymore. I'm just trying to stay alive back here. It's crazy. These checkups are monstrous. I'm just trying to avoid whatever's going on in front of me, try not to get hit. I got a small little bit of contact there. It's not a big deal. I'm just trying to get some stage points. I got the stage points in stage 1. I don't know if I'll be able to get back to the front in stage 2 here, so I'm just trying to get a couple points, keep myself with a little bit of a buffer, and try to catch up to Jeff. I forget how many points he's ahead. It might be a little too many, but if I can close that gap, maybe give myself a shot, make myself feel a little better. I don't know.
Yeah, and you're on Warrior Racing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, awkward situation. I'm gonna put you in. I'm gonna put you in a scenario, and I want to hear what you're gonna say. You come down to that final lap here at Daytona. Jameson Middle Miss is in front of you. Jameson Middle Miss is in front of you. You're pushing him. You push him to the win, and you get knocked out of the playoffs. What do you do?
Oh man, it depends who's behind me. If I got a little bit of a gap, we're gonna have to take the chance and try to get around them. But if we're battling, I'm gonna have to try to push my guy to a win. I mean, we got to try to do something here to break it up. I try to get the team a win.
There you go. Well, I hate to put you in that scenario, but I appreciate you answering it anyway. It's you're getting ready to go green.
And me and Nick are right next to each other in points too, so it's the same deal.
Yeah, there you go. Well, good luck to you for the rest of the race. Appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you, man.
Well, there you have it. Justin Belmont gave him a tough question. I hate to put him in that scenario where I have to pit him against his teammate, and hopefully that's a nightmare scenario for Warrior Racing is having to pick. And he said Nick King also in the same scenario. So those guys all on the bubble, and man, hopefully they'll be in a good spot where they can make an easy decision. But that would be a tough one. Nick King, Middle Miss, and Justin Belmont all running 1, 2, 3 at the end of the race. That would be a tough call for that team. So, but just a few laps to go in this stage. We'll have about a 5-lap shootout. And man, I'll tell you what, if you're not sitting down, you may want to, because it's going to get wild here. Everybody wants stage points. Those stage points make a huge difference in the playoffs. And if those that are locked in, you think, well, why don't they just get out of the way? They're locked in the playoffs. No, they need those stage points, man. They got to get up there. And those stage points will carry you on into the next rounds if you get them. So it's just as important to those fellas as it is the ones that are trying to make it into the playoffs. But Coffee, with a restart, going to have Carmichael behind him to get a great jump. But the outside line is kind of put together here, and they might be able to surge ahead with just 4 or 5 laps to go. Big push by the 3. Mikey. Nick King up in that outside line. It's a 15-3. Go up to the outside. Block those guys from taking that spot. But here comes Brandon Bikey down to the inside. Feder Place jumps down as well. Bikey jumps back up to the outside. He doesn't know where he wants to go. Going to wait maybe just a little bit. It's Feder Place going to lead that bottom line. Big push from behind. Trying to get a surge ahead. You can see the bottom line only with 3 drivers as Paul Gallimore about 3 car lengths back. Got Warren Young, Barry Sanders pushing. Now, here it goes, the move. Mikey down to the inside. Oh, wreck. The 89 goes around. Matt Metler as they're wrecking behind. The 17 of Nigel Christensen involved. The 89. You got parts and pieces all over the dang place. Who is that? That's Feder Place was involved. He's trying to get that thing going, but it will not go, and he's going to call it quits there. Metler able to get his car going. We kind of saw that happen. It was just a slight hook, and 89 went into the wall. Let's go back and check that out here on the replay. Back just a little bit further. Always seem to catch it right as it's happening. You can see those guys really pushing. 3 cars kind of stuck there, and I think 89 just kind of lazily comes down in front, and you know, Man, the 74 gets clobbered, pushed up into that wreck. Watch right here is the top line gets a nice shove, and then everybody kind of jumps out of line. And you're going to see the 89 of Matt Metler kind of come down, but just didn't quite commit. Little bump there, that's all she wrote. And it's just, oh, man, the 74 just gets in there, makes contact. Chris Davis. Checking up, gets hit from behind, trying to not get run over, does get hit. And just sort of along for the ride at that point. Well, pit lane is wide open, though, as multiple drivers have come down pit road. Pretty much everybody comes down to take at least fuel to get them to that, maybe the end of the race. We still don't know exactly how much they can do. And it looks like that was the end of the stage. So Jeffrey Taylor will win the stage, I do believe. And heck, we'll talk to him. What do you say? Let's bring him up into the booth. Well, Jeff, this Eddie in the booth, you got a copy.
What's up, man?
Man, how about that stage winner, Jeffrey Taylor?
I wasn't a stage winner. It would have been. I just came out, beat them off pit road, man.
Oh, okay. Who won the stage then? Because I have no clue. We were watching the game.
I don't know, brother.
Okay. Well, hey, you ain't the stage winner, but hey, you're sitting in a pretty good spot here. Got the lead with about 40 laps to go, and your point standing situation is pretty good. But hey, you know what would help? A daggum win. What do you say?
It could be better. How about that shit?
Yeah.
Well,
how about
crap,
a win?
sorry.
What do you say?
Yeah, how about a win?
Well, you've been fast all night. You kind of been hanging around in the back, been up at the front. What's your strategy here towards the end of this race? You're up front now, and now you got to keep it. First off, what's your fuel strategy like, and then what's your plan here on this final stage?
We're good on fuel. I don't really have a fuel issue now. We're good to the end, unless something drastic happens. Unless we go into green white checkers.
There you go. Well, so you're good on fuel. Now you got the lead. Talk to me about what's your strategy. How are you gonna play? How are you gonna play these next 40 laps out?
It just depends on where my teammates are, man. I need to stay up front, and I mean, I've been trying to stay out of trouble and stay in the back, but at some point you can't get through this crowd. It just can't happen. You just get locked and you just get stuck, and I don't want that to happen.
All right. Well, hey. Oh, go ahead.
And then when it's competitive like it is here, it's hard. You can't really make moves, and you end up got to taking it 3 wide, and then you end up wrecking. You increase the chances of it. So,
all right,
just racing, man.
There you go. Well, hey, you got 40 laps to get it done, and you've got the right team. I feel like y'all are pretty strong. So, good luck.
Thank you, man.
Get him down to his channel. Appreciate him talking to us. And I've been around Moonshiners for a while, but I still have a slight panic attack when I put the driver back into their team check. I feel like I might put them in the wrong one. But looks like Coffee was the stage break. I apologize. I wasn't quite sure that was going to end the stage. Should have known better. But Alex Coffee did win stage number 2. So that is a 6 wins, stage wins on the season. Good for him. But we're getting ready to go green. Jeffrey Taylor leading the bottom line. Going to get a great jump. Hunter Carmichael behind him. And I want to say Jeffrey was hoping that Mikey would be able to get down, but Carmichael got such a great jump. No problem. Jeffrey Taylor jumps up to the outside. 40 laps to go here at Daytona. Who's going to come away with the victory? I think it's still up in the air. So far, 27 drivers on the lead lap. Oh, man. Jeffrey Taylor with some issues as he's getting completely... He just got left out to dry. I don't know what happened there if he got out of shape, but man, he is really struggling here. I think Jeffrey Taylor's got a problem. I don't know what happened there, but he fell through the pack so quickly. So I don't know what happened there, but he had some big trouble. Falling all the way back to 12th spot. Up front, though, now Hunter Carmichael. As you can see, everybody is single file. And I wonder if Jeffrey Taylor felt like he was not going to be able to make it on fuel by leading the pack and drop back through the field. Andrew in chat, good info, good idea. He said can make it about 42 laps in draft. Cannot make it if he's leading. That may be the reason why Jeffrey Taylor falls back like he did, trying to save that fuel. So now we're in that horrible situation like we've seen in real NASCAR where everybody is saving fuel now. It's all about trying to make it to the end. Jeffrey said they were good on fuel. Maybe a little bit of smoke and mirrors for the broadcast, so the competitors maybe thought they were safe, but everybody's got a fuel box. They can see a calculated an estimate of how much fuel they need to get to the end. It does estimate based on your usage, so everybody has that. You can see everybody running single file, just saving fuel. Hunter Carmichael might be in the biggest issue here, but like what we see in real life, he can just slow down. If everybody's saving fuel, you can save fuel in the lead too. You just kind of let off the gas a little bit, and overall, everybody slows down as a pack. Trying to save fuel, trying to make it to the end. They do have the one green, white checkered, so you do need to account for that. While you can say right at 40 is good enough to make it, you might need to make it 3 or 4 more laps. So save as much fuel as you can here. But you see Ed Bowles Jr. going to jump up against that top line. Alex Coffey was really making moves up on the outside. Bowles sees that, jumps up there. And these guys make it on fuel, being this aggressive. It's kind of forcing the hand of everybody. Matt Cox now going to jump up to the outside. Oh, got a little bit loose. Ed Bowles down to the inside. Cox now might be stuck 3 wide. Got Brandon Bikey, though, in the middle with him. We're 3 by 3 for the lead. Fuel saving lasted about 2 laps, and then it is all go, go, go now. That middle line trying to get going here. They do get connected now. So it should see a surge, but as they run side by side, it kind of breaks up these bump drafts. You can see just how they lose momentum at just random times. It really does throw everybody for a loop. That inside line with Hunter Carmichael getting a big jump. But Alex Coffey finally got a teammate up here with him. Johnny Shade now to the back bumper of that 15 machine. Johnny Shade. We talked about Nick King. We talked about Jameson Middlemiss. Belmont, who's in. He's right there on the bubble. Nigel Christensen. But Johnny Shade is another one of those drivers who is right there. 62 points off the cutoff. he needs to win. He needs to get that win. We've talked about it already. Now he's in position. Still got a ways to go in this race, but he's locked on the back bumper of a race winner in this series, a multi-time really, because Alex Coffey did win one of the duels. So he knows how to get it done. Who's going to come away with the victory? It's going to come down to maybe fuel strategy. There comes Nick King down to the bottom. Middle miss. Follows suit. They want to get up here and lead this race. Fuel seems to not be a concern for some of these guys. They're going for broke. Some guys have nothing to lose. And some have everything. You see Belmont way in the back of the field, trying to stay out of trouble. But 16 and the 12 up here trying to get themselves in position. Oh, contact back here. Jeffrey Taylor gets into the wall as they were 3 wide down the back straightaway. Makes a little bit of contact with the wall, but everybody stays going the right direction. Lots of movement going on up here. Oh, man, 3 wide. Barry Sanders in the middle. Trying to hang on to it. He's got Kenny Coppola. Oh, I don't know who that was. Somebody just smacked the wall back there. '19 of Nicholas Atwood gets into the wall. Now Darren Mills also into the wall. Now they're going to go 3 wide. Some contact was made there. Nick King, middle miss down on the bottom, but they don't have any help. All the help is on the top side. Well, when it all counts, teammates find each other at the right times, and that's exactly what's happened for Dig Esports as Alex Coffey, Johnny Shade, Caden Norfree, Nigel Christensen, currently your top 4. Now, they're not really saving fuel. You know, those guys right behind them are trying to save a little bit of fuel, but that was a great opportunity to get each other up to the front and get connected. Here comes Jeffrey Taylor, Brandon Bikey. They're going to get hooked up down the back straightaway. Big push by Bikey. Down to the bottom goes Barry Sanders, right behind him with Kenny Coppola and Paul Gallimore. Side by side here at Daytona. Still 30 laps left in this race. Everything kind of quiet for the moment. You got Alex Coffey on the outside. Dig holding those top 4 spots on the outside line. Then you have Jeffrey Taylor, Brandon Bikey, a BMP on the bottom. You've got bad boy of Barry Sanders kind of peppered in between those BMP guys up here at the front in that 88 machine. Kenny Coppola, Paul Gallimore. Oh, man, it's Coffey gets into the wall a little bit. A little bit of contact there from Shade to Coffey. And now control of the race goes to those drivers to get tight off the corner. And Alex Coffey going to go down to the inside. Make it 3 wide. And now we're 3 wide for the lead. Coffee not willing to sit there behind those drivers, and now they're going to be 3 wide, and lap traffic is coming up. Jordan Schmeets right in front of this field. He goes high. Oh, this is not gonna play well. Jeffrey Taylor with nowhere to go. Brandon Bikey goes to the back as Jordan Schmeets stays up in that outside line. He goes a lap down. Barry Sanders now going to take the lead here on lap 74. 25 laps to go in this race. Barry Sanders being pushed by Kenny Coppola. Alex Coffey able to get that outside line back rolling. Now he's going to surge out front with Johnny Shade's help. Those 4 are going to be locked bumpers for the rest of the race, I would imagine. You know, some drivers like Matt Cox and Bikey, those guys that kind of got stuck behind Schmeets as he was going a lap down. Jeffrey Taylor. These guys now kind of, you know, they're going to have to go 3 wide to get back up to the front. They're kind of stuck. They had that track position, but now they lost it all. Here comes Bikey up through the middle. Looking for somebody to do anything to push them up there. Oh, they're going to make contact back here in the back. Big Rick Schmeets goes around. Justin Belmont into the outside wall. What he was trying to avoid is going to happen for Belmont. The 19 of Nicholas Atwood, big damage. Darren Mills lost the front bumper. We're under caution here at Daytona. Jordan Schmeets not able to get that car to roll. Trying to get back to pit road, but that thing is tore up. Go back just a little bit to see exactly what happened. We'll watch from the blimp cam. As you saw Bikey, we were kind of watching him go up through the middle, trying to make something happen. And Belmont going to get into Nicholas Atwood as the outside line sort of checks up. Watch that again. Outside line's going to check up here. And then Belmont gets into the 19, and around goes Schmeets. Darren Mills involved. A tough break for Belmont, who we talked to earlier, man, just needs to get to the end without any issue. And now he's going to sit on, probably going to have to go down pit road, get some damage fixed on that number 6 machine. You see the front end all kind of crinkled up there. He is sitting there on the bubble. Did not need to have this type of incident for sure. Well, pit, I tell you what, fuel not going to be a problem anymore if we're talking about the race. So you don't have to worry about saving fuel. We're going to go balls to the wall here for the last 20 laps. Well, let's talk to Alex Coffey here. We'll get him up in the chat. Hopefully, don't waste too much of his time probably talking to his teammate. But Alex, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, you did win. You've got a couple stages under your belt here tonight. That 15 really, really fast. You got your teammates up there. Y'all are working together really well, and you guys got together at the right time. So you don't have to give away your plans, but how's the race going so far for you, and what are y'all maybe trying to do here at the end?
I like our strategy. If we can just keep what we got going. Everybody's doing a good job here in the team right now, so we can just keep doing what we're doing. I think we'll have a good shot at one of us getting in victory lane tonight, so that's the plan.
Well, We've seen the bumps be pretty aggressive. It seems like cars are moving around a lot. What do you see out there?
Just telling them to push. If I get sideways, I get sideways. I'll hang on to it, but don't let up.
Well, you've done a good job so far. You've got those stage points, and now looking to try to help one of your teammates, get into the playoffs. So, thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the race, Alex.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Dig Esports, Alex Coffey, still out front right now, looking to get one of his teammates into victory lane. I understand that the stream is skipping again, but at this point, I don't think there's much I can do about it. It's not here on my computer. It is outside of my control, so we'll just deal with it. It is what it is. Lights are out on the pace car. We'll go back green with just 20 laps to go. Definitely not going to be our final caution. Pace car pulling off, coming to lap 80. 20 laps to go here in the Moonshiners Racing League. Green flag back out. Caution back out on the speedway. Hunter Carmichael has gone around and brings the caution right back out. Go back and check the replay real quick. I don't even know if y'all can see it. It's stuttering so bad. But we'll give it to you anyway. Carmichael down on the bottom, giving a push. And man, big hit from the 55 that kind of jumps right into to the 3. Little Miss may have made some contact here. A little push on that left rear. Yeah, just. That's a tough deal there. All right, back here at Daytona. Stream should be a little bit better now. It's going to look not as great, but at least we'll be smooth and won't be all over the place here. We'll try to give you the end of the race. But just going to be probably about 16 laps to go once we get the green flag. The lights are still on the pace car. You know, so far, I really don't know who I have winning this race, honestly. You know, the teammates trying to get together, but these bumps have been pretty rough. Contact, slight movements. It's only going to get worse as we get closer to the end. You know, right there, that incident that caused this wreck was honestly just a little small checkup, a move out of the lane, and then the cars are so close that, you know, they're going to make contact with the left rear, the right rear. So there's just no room for error at the moment. Lights are out on the pace car for Alex Coffey. Barry Sanders going to be on the outside. Got Kenny Coppola, Paul Gallimore, Bikey behind him. Barry Sanders probably not feeling too great at the moment. Hunter Carmichael had some issues. Warren Young was involved in that one. Looking for Aaron Matthews. Aaron Matthews back in 16th. So Barry Sanders up here is kind of on an island by himself. He's going to have to really fight defensively here. He's got teammates all the way down the line on the outside behind him, and then teammates lined up on the bottom. So going to be tough for that 88. He's going to have to find some friends and quickly. Well, the story is, I mean, while whoever wins Daytona is obviously, that's a great win. You want to get that win. But right now, I mean, the story is those drivers on the cutoff. And we'll kind of remind you of that real quick. There it is, Nick King, Christensen, Johnny Shea, Middle Miss. Those guys on the outside looking in. And we just saw the 6 of Justin Belmont have some issues. He's been on pit road multiple times trying to get that damage fixed. Those drivers trying to get in to the playoffs. And we're going to have just about 16, 17 laps to go as they take the green flag. Alex Coffey with his teammates all pushing. Green flag back out. Through 1 and 2, no problem. Outside line getting pushed. Barry Sanders got Kenny Coppola all over the back bumper, giving him a shove down the back straightaway is where the outside line becomes the strongest. You can see the shove as they get slightly clear. What will Barry Sanders do? He's in a tough spot here. He gets pushed out there, and Kenny Coppola doing a great job pushing him, staying there right on that right rear bumper. That's where you want to be. You don't want to be on the left one. You've been on the right one. Push it on that 88. Gets him out front. All those teammates clear on the outside. Will they drop down to the bottom? Will they make a move here on Barry Sanders? Man, big pushes, man. Dig Eastward's not getting it going. I don't know what's going on. They've had some major issues as now this whole group on the top side is now clear. Dig did not have a great first lap there, and man, they fell all the way back as now, contact back here as now Jared Clark, who tried to go to the inside, got left out to dry as now Shane Davis leads this bottom line. top line. Breaks up. You can see that gap between Gallimore and Bikey. They're going to get tight here, but the 5 really pushing that 79. That's good for Barry Sanders. That's a teammate. The 5 going to jump in front, going to drop the 79. Now teammates going to be nose to tail on the outside line. Alex Coffey gets to the back bumper of the 79. Got that bumper put back on. I told you they'd put that bumper back on. He's got it. Now Aaron Matthews. Aaron Matthews is in the playoffs by points. But locking another driver out of the playoffs, not a bad idea. Dadgummit, just nice to get a win. Any one of these drivers up here would love to see a win. Big push. Oh! Pushing the 79. He gets loose, but what a save! The whole field was in danger of getting wrecked out there. What a great job by the 79 and the 15 to get off his back bumper. But hey, look, they didn't waste any time. The 15 gets right back to the back bumpers. Now Gallimore goes around the outside. They're 3 wide. Bikey trying to fit in the middle. Gallimore all by himself on the outside. No help. It's getting tight here in the middle. Oh, here it goes. All around they go. Middle Miss goes around. Oh, big wreck. Nick King getting a little piece of it. Blaine Wilson sideways on the track. Lots of drivers who needed some good races involved in that one. Take a look at the blimp cam. Is all that kind of happened up here. Is everything, Gallimore looks like he got out of the groove, got into the wall, and that's where all this kind of started. Carmichael goes to the inside of Gallimore there. Yeah, and then it just kind of starts maybe with the 13. Watch the 13 and the 16 here. Ed Bowles gets a bump from Hunter Carmichael, and that's where it all started. The bump from the 3. And sends all of them around. All these guys, potential playoff drivers. Blaine Wilson into the outside wall. I mean, that's Dig Esports there. The whole team pretty much gone. Caden Orfrey, I don't know if he got that much damage out of it, but yeah, he was involved. You see him down at the inside. So those guys trying to stick with their teammate Alex Coffey, and now they're going to be involved in a wreck. You'll see the 38 get sideways here, makes contact with the 13. And a great job by Norfrey, but look at the 16. Middle miss. Big damage to that 16, and he is in trouble. And you see Alex Coffey went around as well. How did Alex Coffey go around? Coffey was ahead of this, but he ended up getting caught. So there's 2 separate wrecks here. We're continuing to watch this this wreck kind of unfold. It kind of happened behind, but then there was another one up here right in front. So watch the Carmichael wreck here. There's that one. Then Coffey gives a big shove. No, it's the same one. Middle miss gets loose and hooks Coffey into the wall. That's every Dig Esports driver involved in that wreck. So those guys on pit road, Warren Young back out on track. He's had some issues. But you got multiple drivers here on pit lane trying to get some damage fixed. You can see Paul Gallimore, Justin Belmont, Matt Mettler, Ryan Huff, Ed Bowles Jr., all on pit road getting damage fixed. Some more guys coming back in. I mean, Middle Miss, obviously, the biggest one right here. He needed that win. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen tonight. That car is just too damaged. So, disappointing race for Middle Miss. I mean, you got to stay in it. He's got a good amount of damage. He hit pretty hard. I'd be surprised if he was able to get this thing back out on track. Yeah, just a bummer for all those drivers. I mean, they were in such a good position. And it's just that restart. Whatever happened on that restart where they just fell back so far. Fell all the way back outside the top 10 there on that bottom line, and that just put them in a bad spot, and they just they weren't able to recover. So I'm not real sure what happened there. Just weren't able to get connected, get up to speed. Just and that's where that all kind of went to the wayside. So Johnny Shade's still in this thing. He's the 13. He is up in the 7th position, but he is all alone. He's gonna have to make some friends and try to make a wild move here at the end to get that win if who he really needs it. He still has an opportunity to get into the championship with still 2 races remaining. A good finish is still worth it for him, especially with Belmont and those other guys around him having trouble. So Nick King on pit road, he is likely out of it in that 12, I guess. He's a lap down. He's been on pit road for about 2.5 minutes, so he must have some required repairs. So Nick King maybe having race-ending damage. I mean, he's a lap down now. It's pretty much over. So Nick King gonna lose even more spots. Belmont is back out on track. He is still on the lead lap. So the point situation is pretty wild at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how it shapes out. I mean, Middle Miss out of this thing. Johnny Shade has the most to gain. He's going to gain a ton of spots on that cutoff if he can't get the win. So if you're Shade, I think you just need to stay kind of up here towards the front, try to get that finish. At this point, you don't have any teammates, so the likelihood of you getting the win, I'd say, is pretty low. Not that you shouldn't try. It's just, you know, the likelihood of you getting the help that you need at the right time is going to be tough. You know, I think your best opportunity is to maybe lock bumpers with somebody, push them out to the front, and then try to make a move on the last lap if you can. But just a good top 5 finish would be really good for the 13. Here we go. 10 laps to go left in this race. Aaron Matthews, Barry Sanders out front. Kenny Coppola, Shane Davis in that second row with Bikey in the 5th spot with Hunter Carmichael outside of him into the Geico restart zone. Matthews going to get a great jump. Will he jump in front of his teammate or will he stay on the bottom? For now, he stays on the bottom. Bushes on the outside line from the 79 of Shane Davis, pushing the 88. As Aaron Matthews now has a mirror full of Kenny Coppola. Coppola going to push him way out there. Will he dump him? A great strategy you can pull on the last lap, which is push a guy out there. Now he's going to drop back to his teammate. Aaron Matthews may see that happening and try to prevent it. They get bottled up on the bottom. Now here comes Barry Sanders on the outside. Oh, they're kind of scattering. The whole pack scattering back here as there was some sort of contact. Somebody went low down the race. So look at Justin Belmont now has moved inside the top 10. Oh, they're still making contact. The wreck started in turn 1. It's now moving down the back straightaway as they're 3 wide back here outside the top 10. Back up front. Kenny Coppola still pushing the 5. Two teammates behind him. He's in the worst position. His teammate, Barry Sanders, back at the back of this pack. 7 laps to go here in this race. Who's going to come away with the victory? It's anybody's race up here inside the top 9. Randy Mullins, we had talked about him all race. He's back here in the 9th spot, got the back end of this draft. Hunter Carmichael, 10th on back. They have lost the draft. Will they be able to recover? I don't know. Not sure if there's enough time these guys get up here and get to racing. They might be able to do it. They're going to have to get organized, though, and get caught back up. You can see immediately they're getting single file. That's what you have to do. They're trying to run these guys back down. They're going to continue to be side by side up here. Barry Sanders, Shane Davis running side by side. That kind of slows up this pack. But up here in the top 5, they are single file. Now the front group gets single file, trying to pull away. If that pack, if you keep it 9 drivers to the end of the race, you got a 1 in 9 shot if you're up here to get a win. If they get up here You get that second pack caught back up. It is a 1 in 20 shot of winning this race. So just do they have enough time to catch back up? They get side by side up here. As long as they keep racing side by side, this group has an opportunity. They're going to have to push like hell to get it done, as they have gained about a 10th on that last lap. They have to continue that trend. Belmont going to lose the draft here. He's in big trouble. Him and Blaine Wilson, they may be out of it no matter what. But up front, it is still Aaron Matthews, Kenny Coppola, Brandon Bikey, Johnny Shade, and Tim Wortman Jr. in that 5th spot. Middle Miss back out on track, missing a majority of his car, as they're going to go 3 wide there to get around him, but so far so good. Shane Davis and Barry Sanders keep pulling out of line. I don't know if that's by design, trying to help get that second pack caught back up, but they're not able to go anywhere. That second pack now 1.1 seconds back. And I want to say that was by design, because in that group is Hunter Carmichael, a teammate of Barry Sanders. And like I said at the beginning of the race, you've got to have teammates to win this race. 5 laps to go. They've fallen back just a little bit now, 1.2 seconds back, and gotten it down to 1.1. But now Randy Mullins and Shane Davis have lost the main draft. These front 7 are locked nose to tail, and now they're pulling away. So, I mean, weird what's happening here at the end of this race. But how quickly it can go sideways if you lose the draft. Now Barry Sanders is going to go up to the outside. He's got his teammate up front, but he has no help in the back. Nobody willing to jump out of line at the moment. Another lap car. That's Chris Davis. He is 14 laps down. They push the 5 out there. Is this the time for the move? When do you make it? Barry Sanders going around Jared Clark by himself, trying to get anybody to go up to that outside line to try to make something happen here. That second group has sort of gotten together now, but they are 2.3 seconds back with 4 laps to go. I don't know if that's going to be enough time. Now it looks like Jared Clark, Barry Sanders are in danger of losing that draft if they're not careful. That's that side-by-side racing. You got to be careful with that. This next gen, very easy to lose it if you're not careful. If everybody's running in the line, it's so difficult to move out of line, because you just end up slowing the guy that you go around. You have to kind of time it or have some help. Right now, Barry just not having the help he needs to make moves. 2.2 seconds is that second pack led by Randy Mullins, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. They are getting side by side up here. That is going to hurt them. That's going to allow Randy Mullins to gain a lot of time. They've gained 0.2 of a second since these guys have gone side by side. All they're doing is slowing each other down, allowing that second group to get caught back up. Do they have enough time? 2 laps to go. Aaron Matthews still with the lead. We have 1 green-white checkered if we need it. But if they get that white flag, we will race to the end of this thing. There will be no caution. No caution will end the race. We will race back to the checkered flag. If you're Aaron Matthews, no wins on the season. Kenny Coppola has 3 wins on the season. Brandon Bikey also, well, he has 4 wins. Tim Wortman Jr. back in 4th. He's got no wins. He hasn't won in over 90-something plus races. He's hungry. He wants a win. Those 2 teammates, the 77 and the 27, they better pack a lunch. And look at that second pack. Really made a lot of moves. They are going to catch up maybe by the end of this thing. This is going to be wild. Kenny Coppola, white flag is out. 1 more lap to go. We're going to see this thing to the finish. Coppola pushing Aaron Matthews as they go side by side behind him. It's not going to be a 2-horse race. Don't be silly. Coppola comes disconnected. Here comes the run from behind. Barry Sanders going to push Tim Wortman. He can see daylight. Going to go to the outside. Barry Sanders going to go with him. Aaron Matthews going to block. Big shove by Tim Wortman. Wortman goes down to the inside. He has no help. They're going to door bang. They wreck. Here comes the run. and cross the line. He's going to snap that streak. Tim Wortman Jr. takes the victory here at Daytona. The winless streak is over for Tim Wortman Jr. He takes the victory with a last lap pass, door banging as he comes down to the checkered flag, gets hit from behind. Little congratulatory as he continues to spin. He's going to do donuts anyway, but there you have it. Tim Wortman Jr. with a great last lap move. He will get that victory. He will snap that streak, and he will lock himself into the playoffs. He was already locked in, but he is now for sure going to be locked in. Let's go back and watch that again. Last lap, Tim Wortman Jr. We'll stay on him as you watch up here at the front. He gets help. He's got Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders going to push him up here as Kenny Coppola had pushed Aaron Matthews all the way up here, then came off of him. So their run has started to fail here. And then here comes Wortman with a big push. Aaron Matthews sees it coming, goes up the block. Wortman gives him a shove, then goes right down to the bottom. And then Barry's going to go with his teammate. No surprise there. Wortman gives him a little shove. Barry Sanders then gives up the goods, tries to go to the outside, and last little nice little move there to block Johnny Shade, who gets a fourth place finish. Holy cow. Let's watch that from Johnny Shade's point of view because he almost had this win. Watch Barry Sanders. If he would have pushed Aaron Matthews, they would have been good. He goes to the outside. I mean, not trying, I don't think. You can see that right there was all it took to secure the victory for Tim Wortman Jr. as he takes the victory here tonight. What a great Daytona finish. Snaps that winless streak. And he is doing donuts here at the start-finish line. Man, woo. Good grief. Got to burn it down. Let's go through the results, see where everybody finished, and then we'll talk to him. I'm sure a very excited Tim Wortman Jr. Boy, that was a lot of fun. Let's take a look at your results before we get to these interviews. 9 cautions, 2 of which were stage cautions. Tim Wortman Jr. got to snap that winless streak. I think it was in the 90s at this point. 90 race win streak. He's going to snap it here at Daytona, man. What a great feeling that's got to be. Kenny Coppola comes home in second. Brandon Bikey there in third place. Johnny Shade in fourth. I got to say, he almost had the win in the bag. And that little late move by Tim Wortman sealed the deal. But, I mean, great finish for Shade, who needed those points badly. And those guys he was racing all had trouble. Justin Belmont, who was on the cutoff, he finishes in 18th. So, Johnny Shade, while he didn't get the win, I think that is about as good as it can get there. Matt Cox going to come home in 5th. Shane Davis in 6th. Matt Medler with a great finish in 7th. Jared Clark in 8th. Nigel Christensen, one of those drivers below the cutoff. Great points night, but I just don't know. I don't know if he's got enough to catch back up, but we'll see. In 9th, Jeffrey Taylor in 20th, or 10th. 11th, Ryan Huff with Randy Mullins in 12th. Aaron Matthews, after all that happened, going to come home in 13th. Barry Sanders in 14th. Might be a little bit of tension there in the teammate chat. Like I said, I don't think Barry meant to go to the outside, but that contact is kind of what kind of started all that there at the end. Hunter Carmichael comes home in 15th. Peyton Orfrey in 16th. 17th, Blaine Wilson. Justin Belmont in 18th. Warren Young in 19th. Paul Gallimore in the 20th spot. 21st, Alex Coffey, stage 1 and 2 winner. Ed Bowles Jr. in 22nd. Jameson Middlemiss in 23rd. Nick King in 24th. All these drivers were out of the race with contact. 25th, Chris Davis. Nicholas Atwood in 26th. Darren Mills 27th. 28th, Jordan Schmeets. Chris Spear 29th. 30th, Brendan Fetterplace. And then rounding out your field, Matt Mackin and Shane Parrish. Well, I tell you, we got to talk to your winner here tonight. I mean, Tim Wortman Jr. is got to be tickled pink. So let's get him up into the booth and talk to him. I know he's excited. Let's bring him up here and see what he thought about the race. Tim, there it is. We talked about that winless streak probably 10 races or so ago, and you have finally snapped it here at Daytona. How do you feel?
Oh, man, I'm so glad this is over with. This is my first win in a next-gen league race. That's how bad this has been. And even starting this season, now I run two next-gen leagues. So that's a lot of races without a win. So a lot of podiums. Finished second to Kenny and some other people quite a bit. And, man, it feels good to have it over with.
Well, I mean, let's go back. I know we want to talk about the finish, but let's go back to the start of the race. You feel pretty good as far as playoffs go. So you really didn't have a whole lot of pressure. It was just all about the win here tonight, trying to get a victory. What were your thoughts coming into this race and early on in those first couple stages? Kind of what was your plan, and do you feel like it kind of played out like you needed it to?
Yeah, I hate the ride in the back mentality, but I felt like I had to do it. I didn't feel comfortable. I feel better at Talladega running up front the whole race than what I do here. The racing's more tight and you're more prone to accidents. So just hung out in the back and waited for those first two stages to click off. And then even after we started stage 3, I still had, the inside line really wasn't going. And I found myself like 20th again. Had a few incidents there, still had to come in and get damage fixed, but on the last one, seems like the seas parted and, found myself 7th or 8th. And, I don't know what happened with Barry there on that outside line. What was that, like 3 or 4 to go? Then I'm sitting there like 4th on the inside line. And, that's where you can make some moves.
Well, you were there, ready to strike. You kind of really didn't have a shot at it until right there when Barry and Matthews kind of get together, and then, like you said, everything just opened up, and you were able to make a nice move down to the inside. But it's still, I mean, the fight wasn't over once you got the lead. You had some big runs coming from behind. I mean, Johnny Shade had a huge head of steam. You were able to throw that late block that was perfect, a great clean block. And that sealed the deal. Talk about the nerves. People watch this and they think, oh, it's just a video game. Tell me what it's like on those last laps when you feel like you have a shot to win. You get the lead, and then you see that checker flag. What's it like out there?
I mean, I was the nervous wreck because I felt like I pulled a Harrison Burton, but I caught myself. So like I'm like asking everybody, I was like, did I actually win? Did I actually win? Is it, did I do anything wrong? And they're like, no, it's you won. You're sitting there shaking because you finally won one. Barry and Johnny definitely helped me out there. A great appreciation to them, and I felt like that move in turn 3 that I pulled on Aaron was the wrong one, and it was going to cost me the race. I was really trying to latch on to him and maybe even try and put myself between him and the wall. The moment I dropped down to get a run on him and I saw Barry latch to him because they're teammates, I was like, well, that just did it, And looks like they got together, and all I had to do was play block from there to the start finish.
Yeah. Just incredible there, and able to get that victory, man. Just so awesome. Man, congratulations. That's all I can say. It's awesome to see you win. I got to say, I was pulling for you just a little bit. I'm supposed to stay impartial, but I hate to see people go through dry spells. It can be frustrating. So, man, very happy to see you get that win. So congratulations. Go celebrate. You better celebrate this one for a couple days for sure. Cause hey, you never know when the next one's going to come. But you go into the playoffs now. You're definitely locked in now with that win. You go to Darlington next week. No pressure, but you got to feel good about the momentum getting this win here tonight going into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's great because we run like this each season and we get ourselves way up the championship points, and then it gets to the end of the championship run, and all them guys that have wins and all them bonus points, they stack on top of you. So eventually you hit that final 8 and you find yourself not able to make the Final Four unless you get a win. So this win is going to probably put me way up in the points now. Instead of 8th, I'll probably be 4th or 5th, and it'll help my seeding out through the playoffs tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, man, I can't say enough. Congratulations. Great win. Great moves there at the end, and everything played out just right. So, congratulations. And, man, the floor is yours. So, you got to thank.
I thank my guys at Warrior Racing. All the guys that I've raced with here for 3 years, cheering me on through this. Um, Advanced Sim Racing for this great rig that I'm in. Okanee Hill Products, my company, for supporting supporting all this racing. RS Button Boxes, great thing here. I was able to run all my buttons and save fuel during the race real easy. And Nick King with Warrior Wraps, man. If you need a wrap, you just tell him what you want, and he just I don't even have to show him a picture sometimes, and he just comes back with it, and he just nails it on the first time. Just all these guys on Warrior Racing, it's good. That Randy, I even think Randy Mullins with the Paradigm guys, the Ram Builders sponsors the league. I knew I was going to need to make a list, but I don't ever do this, so I figured I didn't forget people.
Look, I got the sponsors. You don't worry about it. You just go celebrate
right.
that winless streak getting snapped. Congratulations again, Tim.
Thanks, man. We're going for 2 next week.
There you go, Darlington. Better watch out. Tim Mortman Jr. on his way. Well, hey, wanted to give a really good interview there for somebody snapping a winless streak, and we definitely appreciate those guys being patient. Kenny Coppola patiently waiting, man. Definitely appreciate that. Wanted to give Tim a whole lot of love there as he snaps a 90 race winless streak. But Kenny Coppola got 3 wins on the season. Definitely a championship favorite, even after an injury. I think everybody's still talking about you as somebody that's going to be a fight to try to beat you for the championship. So tonight, though, it was all about the teamwork, working together. And y'all almost played it perfectly there at the end, just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, I just want to say congrats to Tim Wortman Jr. When I started my sim racing career, he was one of the first guys I really met on here. We've been racing together now for 3.5 years or so, and just awesome to see him get back in victory lane. He puts in a ton of work every week to get better and try to come up here and compete. So finally got him one. Congrats, Tim. But yeah, this race tonight was a heck of a lot of fun, man. 2-3 wide, linking up with teammates, pushing. Dig Esports ran real good. They pretty much dominated most of the race, but come down there to the end, Tim won that race and 1 and 2 side drafting Brandon real hard. He couldn't get up to me and helped me push Aaron, and we just got bogged down, and I went to block late, and it was a heck of a finish. Kept it clean for the most part.
Yeah, and it seems like the way the stages were set up, it kind of allowed for that exciting racing to happen the whole time, where you never really felt like you had to come down for a green flag stop. Do you like that, or do you miss those green flag stops?
It goes both ways. Usually at Daytona, by the time your green flag stop, and it really spreads the field out, and it can actually get boring just riding single file in 2 or 3 different packs out there. I enjoy coming out here and racing. You go into these super speedways thinking you're gonna get wrecked out anyways. Why not do it while you're having fun racing? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, well, I agree with you there, but y'all definitely came out racing there at the end, and you were a good pusher all night long, especially towards the second half of the race. I mean, gosh, 77 was pushing, you were going to the front, but came up a little bit short, but second place, still a great finish at Daytona. You live to see the end. That's always a good thing. So congratulations on that second place finish. And Kenny, who do you have to thank?
Kistler Rods, Team Watson Racing, all my buddies at BMP that put laps down all week running. It's enjoyable to race with those guys. Martin Sports, Boomer Button Box, RS Button Boxes. Want to thank Moonshiners, Barry, all the admins. Try to clean the racing up a little bit. I think tonight was a pretty darn good showing for us. And then finally, you for putting these broadcasts on, allowing us to go back and rewatch these.
All right. Well, man, appreciate that. That is Kenny Coppola, your second place finisher here tonight. And, patiently waiting is the third place finisher, Brandon Vikey. Brandon, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy. How's it going?
Well, it's going great. Man, you were up front all race long. It seemed like you were able to go to the back, come to the front, go to the back, come to the front. And your teamwork was pretty dang good tonight. But just there at the end, could not get back to the front. But let's go back to the beginning of the race. I mean, your strategy being a 4-time winner this season, kind of what was your strategy? What was y'all's plans as you came into this race?
Plans? You can't have plans here. I was just having fun. I mean, this track is kind of like a chess game, I guess, but it's all about luck. It's being in the right places at the right times. I mean, I was running up at the front, and a lap car was coming by, and we were 3 wide, so
Yeah.
I just had to take the L and just drift on to the back. Stuff like that happens. It's just part of the super speedway racing. So absolutely no plans tonight. Just going out there and cutting it up, having some fun with the boys, and trying to put on a good show.
Well, there at the end, you had your teammate Kenny Coppola pushing Aaron Matthews way out there. And I would imagine the strategy was to push him out there, kind of drop back, get hooked up with you, and then just go right around him. And did quite work out there. But there at the end, what an amazing finish, huh? After sort of a wild and crazy race, no green flag stops meant that you were just going ham all the way through. There at the end, is there anything you could have done differently to try to get this win?
I really don't think so. I mean, yeah, Kenny and I were gonna obviously save up some temperature space or at least I was, to be able to kind of draft with him and just hook on him for the last lap and just take off. That's what we were gonna do. But Tim Wortman timed his run perfectly, and he got just to my quarter. I mean, it was a little bit behind my quarter panel actually, but he just got to the exact right point in the game where it registers as a a side draft, and it just sucked me right back. And that's when I lost touch with Kenny and Aaron, and then spent the whole rest of the lap trying to just get some momentum back to get back up to him and push again. So I mean, we luckily got a podium finish that we shouldn't have there. We just got beat by just. I mean, Tim Wortman, congratulations. He just picked the perfect time, and love to see him win. I know he had a pretty long winless streak there, so I'm glad he did, and he made the right moves at the right time. So I raced a ton of Daytona this past week. Was in 100 different scenarios at the end of the race, and sometimes you're in the right spot, sometimes you're not. The low line was not the best spot to be in, and we knew that. I just didn't think he would get a good enough run to get beside me, and I just miscalculated it, and that's what happens. So again, so happy he won. That's awesome for him, and I'm glad Kenny and I could still pull off a podium finish and have some fun doing it. And like I said, it was a great show there at the end. At least it looked like it from my seat. It was a bit crazy. I'm just trying to dive and dip and dodge to avoid the wreck there, but I hope you guys had fun watching it.
Hey, it was so nice. We watched it twice. Well, congratulations, Brandon Bikey. Third place finish as we go into Darlington next week. And man, who you got to thank?
I thank you guys putting on a great broadcast week in and week out. So love that. Looks like you're solo today, but even your solo runs are awesome. So we appreciate you greatly. Barry Sanders for putting on the league, all the league admins, and then my family that supports me and watches my races and lets me do what I do. My dad watches a lot of these. Garrett, my wife Lindsay, my friend Bryce. Just my support system. Just appreciate that, and all the people that watch the stream every week. We appreciate what you guys put in the chat. Andrew, Kelly, Wayne, all you guys that are in there talking while we're racing. So we appreciate that greatly. So yeah, that's it. I don't have any sponsors. BMP, my team, obviously, I can't forget them. They're the best guys to work with ever. It's fun every night getting on here on Discord and just cutting it up with them, whether we're racing, whether we're playing cards, fantasy football, Warzone, any of the stuff. We just like to have fun. So it's a great group of people. So I just want to shout out to all of them. And again, thanks so much. And we'll try to see if we can put on a good show next week in Darlington.
All right. Well, there you have it. Third place finish, Brandon Bikey. And that's going to do it for us here tonight as Tim Wortman Jr. takes home the victory, crosses the start-finish line. Look at that finish. What an amazing, amazing race. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Ragin' Cajun Bail Bonds 250. Boy, that sure did deliver. And we move on to the Lady in Black Darlington next week. That'll be worth every penny. So come on out and check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun. But, man, for Barry Sanders at Moonshiners, thank you, brother, for all that you do, putting on a great show. Thanks to all these drivers who put on a great show here tonight. For V-Speed, I'm Eddie Smith. Thank you to Bradley Cooper, Adam Baker for all that they do. And we'll be back here tomorrow night for Apex Truck Series here on V-Speed. And then on Friday night, we'll be starting up the Goat Locker Truck Series. That's going to be a lot of fun. Joey Atterbury, Alec Martinez going to be in the booth. That's going to be a blast. So come on by, check that out. That should be fun. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe. That'd be pretty awesome. But we will see y'all next week. Y'all be good.